So good evening and welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. I'm joined in studio number 3, by Emma Martin. Emma has been traditionally our yellow beacon initially on our first seasons of the WoW DCG, but has lately, you can tell it's been a good day, has lately been joining me on the microphone, mostly because she can actually pronounce the word, which I clearly can't.
You mean latterly?
That would be the one. So great to have you with us, Emma, and partly because we've got quite a lot of stuff going on. We've got lots of screens that are really active at the moment, as you can tell, because Emma's eyes are wandering left, right, and centre. Because we're currently running about 6 screens in this new studio. It's really great to be in here, but we do have a very busy night, and we have got some special guests on tonight and some special beacons as well. But before we get there, we've got to say a massive thank you to everybody who has joined the DCG gang. The work that Emma, that myself, that Russ, we all put in to make the gang happen. It's absolutely a labour of love. You know, we're not going to get rich doing it, but it is nice to cover the cost of things like the streaming, the hosting, the restreaming, and all the software and all the things that we need just to make the Chain Gang happen. So thank you very, very much if you have donated. And please do make the most of the discounts from the guys up there from 1080 OTE Gritty, from Continental Velskin, Halo, and Nonnas as well. Because we want to say thank you, and it's been a great year so far. We're at the darkest day, the shortest day of the year, and I'm kind of looking forward to a bit of brightness and a bit of Technicolor, as we can see just on our screens over there, because our riders are starting to line up, Emma.
They are indeed, and it's indeed the winter solstice today, so dark early, dark for a long time, but daylight and longer light is coming.
It is indeed. Well, let's take a look at the map. We're just under 5 minutes to the ride start. So let's dive in. Here we go. So we have a really fun course here. I've loved this. It was actually a Russ introduction, wasn't it, Emma? And we've nicked his route.
Well, we have, but purely because the first time this route was used on the Tuesday and Thursday Donny Chaingang, the Facebook page afterwards went absolutely manic with people absolutely loving this course. So we have indeed nicked this route off Russ, and we've used it for the WoW DCG today. So we are on Farmland Loop. We have 5 laps tonight of the Farmland Loop, 7.8 kilometres per lap, giving us a finish distance at 39 kilometres. That is the start and finish banner, 39 kilometres today. There will then be a 2 kilometre warm down to the blue end event banner. So tonight the legs will be looking to stop at 39k and then spin out to 41.
And that is a number people need to remember. It's 5 laps, starting and finishing at the Mercury Island banner, which we go through very quickly actually after we leave the pens. And the hilly part of this, as we are going to show you, it's key because it is not flat. This is farmland, not flat land. So let's jump in with the Velo Viewer profile. Velo Viewer profile, absolutely key. And a massive thank you to Ben Lowe, to John Wild, and all the team there, to Dom Was as well. It's a big team who made this happen. And I've got to say a personal thank you because we use it for commentary professionally as well. It's absolutely key. Now, as you can see, we start and drop straight out of that start down into the bottom right hand side. We go around this loop in a clockwise direction, but we then climb up into town, and that is key because it takes us up to that high point, and it doesn't stop climbing. In fact, until we start heading out of town, and that is critical. Okay, let's introduce our beacons. This could be entertaining. Our yellow beacon tonight is
the one and only Miss Cookie. Miss Cookie has been on the Donny Chaingang pretty much since we started years ago. She has been red beacon. She has completely and utterly given the snacks and drinks to everybody on board the DCG for a long, long time. And tonight is the very first time she takes on the yellow beacon mantle.
She does indeed, and she's got some real riders to control tonight. And remember, the key is try and stay around yellow until that trigger point. Now, when the trigger goes, or if you're struggling, or if you just want to go soak up enough mince pies and booze to sink a battleship with, then of course you can join the one and only Terminator. Rumours that she drinks Castrol GTX rather than eggnog, and that instead of mince pies that she eats ball bearings for breakfast, are not strictly true. But Tracy Seeley is indeed our Terminator, who is the red beacon. Don't worry, she won't mash you into little pieces. Quite simply, this is going to be a really well-qualified red beacon, who we know can mix it up at the front of the ride. But remember, it is all about making sure you stay in with our beacon. So let's dive across onto the start line. It's getting very busy down there. Both our yellow and red beacons are in at the moment. And as you can see, it's looking like it's going to be a manic day, Emma, and we're on the way down. And remember, of course, we're not going to say the words go, 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 or, in fact, ho, 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 as it's likely to be tonight, because this is going to be the key signal that's going to come out from our yellow beacon.
Yeah, it is indeed, and that is what everybody is waiting for. And you'll see the banter and the chat that starts off the Chaingang tonight slowly abate as people get a bit twitchy and keep their eyes out around what's going on for when they feel that yellow beacon will let the ride go.
So here we go. Our riders are about to head off from the start. We're going out with Holly Bergen. Holly, one of our regular riders, but we're going to get our helicopter up into the air. Always a nice way to see who's left on the start line. I think at least one rider. Key here to try and get out from that start as quick as you can. So let's see if everybody can get off that start line. I think the team just about heading out, just with Tracy Seeley at the moment, and I think one rider just in. And don't forget, you can late join, so you don't want to be distanced too early here, and it is key to try and get into that pack and get it rolling quite quickly. So if you do fail to get out of the pen, if you're struggling, then don't hesitate to jump in. I think pretty much everybody out. Should we go take a look at the pen?
I think it's just us sat in the pen. I think Foxy had a little bit of a trouble getting out the pen, but she's come off the line, and she is sat with Tracy at the moment.
Yep, just a full speed events avatar. The most loneliest avatar in the world. Could never take a shower, that avatar, or something, because nobody ever wants to stay with them.
It never pedals
terrible.
Anywhere.
Doesn't pedal anywhere. Well, actually, it's not strict. It has pedalled every now and then, occasionally, when we don't want to use it around. So we're in with our red beacon. Is Tracy Seeley, who's just chasing on to the back of the group at the moment on that Pinarello. So remember, the key here is to stay around that yellow beacon, and Tracy no doubt will be doing her best to pull the riders in to place at the moment and try and keep everybody in to the group. Key is, remember, stay around yellow. That is absolutely key for our riders. Now, one of the things we are going to warn everybody of is that on Mercury Island, the time gaps are absolutely rubbish. There is no other word for it, because you will see there are huge time gaps appear between people who are not being gapped. However, the screens don't lie when we show you somebody off the back of the group. So key is getting to the pack. Now we're going to have a little run through the gang here. We've got a real who's who, in fact, on here, and really pleased to have the one and only Alex Morris in here. Now, Alex is a regular name on the Chaingang and has indeed been here before, but you may recognise this kit, because this kit is very distinctive. If you've been watching GCN, and my colleagues on there, you will indeed recognise this as the very same Alex Morris who has just won the Zwift Academy and has now been given a professional contract. And just as importantly, and there's a really nice link, is coached by Dean Downing.
She is, and so previously people on the Donny Chaingang may have seen her in the Downing Cycling grey and green strip. They may also have seen her in the AEO strip as well, because Alex Maurice is a member of the AEO esports race team, or Yeah, and has been riding in both of those kits previously. Nice new kit though, Alex. Absolutely beautiful. Looking stunning on you tonight.
Yep, and great to have her on here now that's been announced. And have to say, going to be very, very interesting to see what happens once that trigger is pulled. And whether or not we're going to see some of that absolute class on the way through. Now, just going to roll our way down towards the back, because one rider is here who was riding last night on the DCG. Claire Jessup had the company of Simon Runnett, aka Sean, aka Simon, and doing a great job on there. Back in tonight as well. Great to see this in here. And Alex already up on the chat. So if you are watching live, don't forget, ask questions.
Yes.
Distract her. Keep her occupied and try and make her work harder than maybe she intends to. That's usually a great move.
Yeah, and indeed, I imagine it was a great week out in Spain because Denia this time of the year, whilst not the sweltering heats that it is in the summer, is a really good place to head out and ride over the winter and into the spring. And I imagine it is not just Alex on the ride tonight that is headed out to that area of Spain for a little bit of riding where the roads are very quiet and fabulous cycling country. I am very lucky. My sister lives about 5k down the road from Denia, so it always ties in with a family visit, but a very fabulous place to ride. So if you have a question for Alex, I'm sure she will tap away on the keys whilst the pedals are turning lightly and pop it in the chat.
Yeah, and indeed we do have the hands here. If you watch the footage, you'll see she's actually got a handbrace on some of the pictures as well. So really interesting, giving it absolutely everything, which is great to see. Now, let's take a little bit of, should we play a little bit of random bingo, rider bingo, because we've got quite a lot of riders on tonight. I'm going to randomly hit a rider, and we're going to try and pick something about them. So here we go. Oh, look at that. That is proper random, honestly. I wasn't even watching what I was doing. Our yellow beacon, Miss Cookie herself in yellow and black. Going to be making sure that the riders ramp it up and then, of course, get that trigger point. Miss Cookie, a little known fact about Miss Cookie, Emma. Come on, there must be a random fact about Miss Cookie.
Christmas facts or random Christmas facts. Her favourite Christmas movie is Elf.
Oh, unlucky. We never said she had taste, but she can ride on and lead a DCG. Right, okay, let's pick another rider. Now, it's going to be entertaining because we've got one of our new riders on here. So we're in with Klein at the moment. And one of our Swedish riders, one of our newer riders as well, riding on the Zwift bike with a Zwift kit, but already got a set of lightweight wheels on there, which means has been up the Alp and won those. So clearly got a good selection. Neither that or knows the cheat code to get hold of them, which does exist. Shouldn't tell you that, but it does. Right, next up, a certain, I think it's Emma Dooley, if I remember correctly. It is indeed. So Emma, one of the Fear riders, and one of our regular riders, in fact, Emma, is fast becoming a fast and regular. And the Fear riders, I think, have the best kit. Sorry, Aeonian race team on the game. To be honest, I quite like a set, please. If somebody wants to add me onto your team roster, just so that I can have the kit. It's a bit of Starner-esque, but I can live with that. Particularly as it looks like they've just signed the. Certain Mr. Cavendish. Next rider. A certain. This should be Joanne Lee. If I got my J Lees right. There's quite a few J Lees, but this is definitely Joanne Lee, another of our regular riders. And has John not been a red beacon for us?
Yes, indeed.
Ago? So knows the score and how to ride that beacon roll, but our red beacon having a pretty steady roll in at the moment. The gang is moving quick.
Yeah, they are rolling really fast, aren't they? They're just tapping along at around 35 kph, and currently the yellow beacons just had called them at 2 watts per kilo. So you can take a look and see they are rolling at around 2 watts per kilo, but the pace is fast. You know, it's a quick course tonight. whilst it is not completely flat, it is the second flattest route on the Makuri Islands map. There is that climb and there is that descent, but overall this is a really quick route, and with a pack of, there are 38 riders in that pack, so that pack is rolling really well.
It is indeed rolling really, really well. Now, we're just in with S-Sites, which is another Aeonian rider, and this is where we maybe ought to be asking Carla, head honcho for the Aeonian, about every single rider, but we're going to have to make do with you, Emma, because you're a DS for the squad as well as being a rider. So Sites in here, that's Sarah Sites.
Yeah, and Carla is indeed. I have seen Carla in here. Sneakily, Carla goes by just the letter K.
Yeah.
So
good
K,
luck at me just picking those.
Yeah.
Let's see. I tell you what. Let's
she's
jump
in there.
across.
I've seen her. So Carla is indeed in on the ride tonight as well. So it's great to have some of the AEO squad on the pack and in the pack again tonight. And you can see that kit. You see, I just think that kit is lovely.
No.
You know, you can coordinate your bike, you can coordinate your socks, and there's many different colour choices.
You can indeed. Right, enough talk about Aeonian blooming race team. We'll never get Emma quiet about it. I don't know. I'll be hitting that mute button, the remote one that she can't access. Right, Joe Blackburn. What can we say about Joe? But potential winner after that trigger point has gone. Now, going for disc wheel, deep rim on the front there, Emma, and an aero bike as well. Really, really good setup that for this course. Good
setup for this course, and we've seen Joe time trial off the front on Tempest Fugit. We've seen her attack and attack and attack on Innsbruck Ring. You know, she's always at the front and she's always pushing on and she's always creating the action after the I was going to say it then, but I'm not going to, after the ride trigger happens.
Okay, now we do have one rider behind our red beacon. That is Tam. Tam, though, if we are correct in our mass, Tam is down by a substantial 25 seconds. Now, suggestions, Tam, if you're listening or watching the live feed, to rejoin on a late join, but make sure that you're doing about 2 watts per kilo when you join, because you will go in. If you rejoin and you are not pedaling, it will put you out of the back. So we always suggest until 30 minutes of the ride is done. So that's for another 20 minutes. If in doubt, jump out, late join, and jump back in again. Now, here we go. This is where things get very interesting, because this is the climb that is starting now. We're going to just jump in. It's a rather scenic little part of town. I actually really like this part of the Makuri Islands, and I really, really like riding this climb. Not very often I say that, but it is one of my favourite little parts of the climb. Now, if we pull our drone camera up, you're going to see why. Because we've got a lot of sweeping bends, we've got a lot of hairpin turns, so we've just come across the road, the other side of the rail line, we go over the bridge, but then we start to ramp up, and you can see the road directly above our riders. They're going back and forth. And if we drop in some stats as well, you can see this gradient is not crazy numbers on the way round. It ramps up round this bend 6 to 8%. It then will ease back a little bit again. Then it ramps up, very realistic for when you go around a hairpin, go around the inside of the bend. It's really, really tight. Go around the outside, and you can generally carry a little bit more pace. But at the moment, looks like pretty much everybody's together, and looks like Tam was listening, because Tam has jumped in with the group.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. So we've just seen Tam rejoin, which means that Tracy can push on to the back of the pack.
Yeah, she can do indeed. In fact, I did notice that, Matt, actually, that our yellow beacon also put a call out for the ability to drop out and drop back in. So it's great to see that Tam's done that. She's now well and truly back in the pack. And Tracy, our red beacon, is just hovering over the rear of that group.
She is. I think it's only because she's got the kit on there. So just being asked by Holly, what kilometre is the finish? Holly, I know that you regularly do watch the feed. We're just going to, as our riders go over the top, just pull you back up the map and the summary in case it was just a late join. We're just coming up around the bottom right hand side of that loop. Finishes at 39k. It's at the lap banner, 5 full laps of the ride.
Yeah, it is indeed. So 39k to the finish of the effort, and then 2 kilometre warm down to the blue banner.
Okay, so looks like the climb just taking its toll on our riders. And one rider just been distanced off the back.
Yep, but Tracy's just overtaking, coming alongside, and our rider there, Clang, is just on the back of our red beacon now, and actually moving forward now, back towards the pack.
And that's the job of the red beacon, isn't it? But it does pay to get a little bit of help. So this is key. I'm liking the precision of the typing from our red beacon there. Got the initial in and everybody and everything. Really impressive. Clearly been practicing the typing skills. Either that or got the dictation on there. So the red sled is on its way. It looks like we've got Crazy Pass in here as well. That's Lisa on the way through. Good to see Lisa on the gang, just in that lamprey-inspired kit.
Yeah,
for those of us old enough to remember lamprey.
Coalition rider as well, isn't she? Which our Holly is as well. So Holly Bergen is a coalition rider, hopefully just spreading the message around her team and getting her teammates to join, which is brilliant to see.
It is, and the more the merrier. Now you can see as we've gone over the top here, if we send our helicopter up a little bit higher, it's going to pull away, and as it lifts up, then we're going to just get a little bit of a better look back. It is key to be on those wheels over the top, because the gap opens up. You can just see that red beacon is not in the pack, so we are on 4 laps to go as we hit the line this time. 4 laps left to go. That's our banner that the riders have gone through. Our red beacon is just about to hit that banner, so we are on 4 laps. 4 laps left to go.
Yeah, and there you go. So that is indeed the first glimpse of the finish of the effort tonight, and on a downhill section. So that is going to be absolutely fast and furious and really fun to watch.
It is, and if you get a breakaway go on maybe a lap to go, 2 laps to go, it depends on when that trigger is pulled, then of course it does give a lot of time. Now, Claire Jessup, what is the tractor again? The tractor, basically it's a steamroller, and it flattens out any of the sections where you have an increased rolling resistance. That could be gravel, it could be sand, it could be wooden bridges as well.
Or cobbles.
Or cobbles, indeed. Not that there's any cobbles that I know of in the... there's some slabs, though. There are some slabs in Mercury Island, but no cobbles. So some nice paving slabs. So looks like the red bus is in danger of forming with 4 laps to go. We've just seen, I think Clang's just dropped out Watts Wise completely. That means that we've got Rachel Lee Scott. Rachel, jump on that bus. It is motoring along at the moment. So Rachel just going to need to just jump into the back of that bike, find a group. Looks like that group gone through. Crazy Pants, I don't think needed much help to get back into the group. And that means that the riders are going to be back in very quickly indeed.
Yeah, it does indeed, isn't it? And it is indeed that downhill section. I mean, this group and this pack was rolling really, really fast on that downhill section. They are still at 36 kph, and we are on a 1% incline at the moment. So that just tells you how fast this group are moving.
And it is all about being in the draft, isn't it? In fact, there you go. I was playing random hit the rider bingo. We are in with the one and only. Hi, Carla.
Yeah,
the boss
and
is in.
Just pushing on to get back into that group, so ensuring that she's in that draft and making full benefit of that group.
Indeed, and a very experienced rider on Zwift as well, and knows the dynamics, knows how to ride on here. And great to have Carla on board, just rolling away up to the front, and of course, head honcho of that Aeonian team. Do you have to bow and curtsy and things like that, and salute when you see?
No,
Carla?
it's not the royal family, Matt. It's a supportive cycling e-racing team.
Oh, okay. Don't work like that then. Okay. I've been in teams where you've got to be really nice to the boss.
Well, who wouldn't be nice to the riders and the boss of your race team?
Well, there's quite a few.
Most of us are exceptionally friendly riders.
Maybe in your team, I could tell you a few horror stories from racing in Italy and the Italian teams. Definitely. Right. So here we go. Let's have a little bit of a check on where everybody is. Looks like that group together.
Oh, look, even the yellow beacon's having a go at you now. This is absolutely a dream ride.
I tell you something, she's enjoying having the power of being able to do that. The downside is that I will always get my revenge. I have a very long memory, particularly when people upset me.
Right, shall we move on and concentrate on the riding?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. It's Tiff.
It is Tiff. The one and only Tiff Fletcher.
Yeah, and Tiff is riding really well at the moment. We saw her attack, didn't we? Was that last week? She put in some massive attacks and really was kicking out some phenomenal watts. You know, actually, the power coming out of Tiffany at the moment is really, really good. Looking forward to watching her later on today.
Definitely going to be really interesting. Oh, we have got a little bit of a screen error on our joint screen here for some reason. I'm not quite sure how that magically happened, but there you go. Thank you for the heads up, whoever it was. So let's take a little bit of a check. Perils of running so many screens, it's always juggle. Okay, let's have a look. Who else we got? Oh, Emma Gilbert. We have several Lee Gilberts, but this is Emma.
Yeah.
On here. Emma with 78 rest per minute, just cruising around at the moment for Emma. A really, really improved rider. The rider we know has really come on.
She's had FTP increase after FTP increase after FTP increase over the last 2 months. So that's been absolutely fantastic to see as well. And putting in some stellar performances as well on the WOW DCG.
Indeed. Now, this is Helen Backhouse. Helen, another rider from the Aeonian squad. Good to see that we've got Helen on here. So I'm going to try and work our way through some non-Aeonian riders eventually with Julie Bratton. What can we say about Julie, apart from an absolute legend? Great to see in here. So Tiff Fletcher ill last week, just back in. Julie tucked in nicely. I remember Julie riding last season on the Chaingang around New York. On our New York course, on that rolling course. She was absolutely flying that day. Had a really good ride on that course. And some courses just suit certain riders, don't they?
They do, and that is the whole point of the WOW DCG. You know, we ride a different course every week, and the aim is to offer something for everyone. So there are very flat courses, there are courses with very steep climbs at the end, and there are more rolling and hilly courses deliberately, because it then means there's something for everybody. So not is there something for everyone on each ride, because we've got the red beacon and we've got the yellow beacon. So we've got people who want to put the power down once the ride gets rolling. Others want to come in and they want to chat and take it as a social ride with around 2.5 watts per kilo. You know, there is something for everyone on each ride, but we also try and ensure that there are different routes that suit different people to give different people opportunities. But also we occasionally put in a favourite one, because how do you know you're getting better if you're not riding on the same course and looking at what's going on?
Well, that is key, isn't it? And knowing how long you're going to stay, because of course there's that infinitely variable change of where we're going to be and what we're going to do and where they're going to pull the trigger, and you know that is down to our beacon. Now, another of our riders in here. This is Kirby, Jay Kirby. It's Jenny from the Enduro squad. I don't recognise Jenny from any of the previous rides. Good to have you on board, Jenny. Make sure you have a watch back on the screen. We do try and cover everybody, particularly on the way into the line, as some of our regulars will know. Like Holly, who's already been featured. Let's have a look. One of our new riders, another, in fact, teammate of Holly, with the Coalition Race squad here. And good to have Mandy on board. Another regular rider for the Coalition team, but another new rider on the gang. So great to have you in here. Now, just going to take a little bit of a check because it looks like we've just, Vicky's just had a dropout completely. So Vicky Jones, we're probably going to try and jump back in again. Vicky, you've got about 9 minutes or so. Let's see how that's going to play out. Holly brought all her friends.
Yeah,
Good.
she did indeed.
Just do it. Just bring them. Bring everybody.
That's it.
Now, Angela Webster, another irregular. Or has fast become a regular. Interesting to see, gone for the disc wheel option as well. But it's the lighter weight set of zips on there.
Yeah, the colourful ones, they are quite nice. I quite like that idea. You know, we can't have the Christmas lights, but we can have Christmas zip wheels.
There were Christmas jerseys yesterday floating about.
Were there?
There were indeed. There is actually an official Christmas jersey day. It's known as Ugly Jersey Day, actually, in France, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, that was quite a surprise when we hit to the supermarket the other day to find out big signs saying Ugly Jersey Day.
I think it's very appropriate for Christmas jerseys, to be brutally honest. Right. Let's have a little play. We can play random hit a button and see where we end up. Ruth Taylor. Back with Ruth. Ruth, I think this is second or third ride back for Ruth, who's back from illness and injury. The two eyes that need to be replaced with R&R. So it looks like the gang in here. Tracy locked the Baileys away to the end of the ride. I don't believe that. This is Tracy Seeley, let's face it. On the way down, just going to see where we end up on the way through. So we've got Rachel Lee Scott nicely tucked back in again. And I think this is going to be Pia Road as a two-up into the finish on the ride last week. And I think, did we not finish on Fuego Flats this week? Shows me.
Last week?
Last week's Wow DCG.
We were in Innsbruck last week.
We were in Innsbruck. Pia rode in with Elizabeth. There you go. My memory's not all that bad. So Pia back with us again. Good to have you back, Pia. Pia Uberlin just making her way up on to this climb for the second time. The gang rolling well. It's pretty swift on the front of this group, though.
It is, isn't it? You know, this group are moving really well. 41 riders now in the pack. A couple of late joiners coming in and joining us tonight. 14 kilometres currently completed. 23 minutes on the clock. And you're right, Matt. This group are rolling really well.
Well, they're nicely going up the side here, up around these twists and turns, around that hairpin bend. I actually like the stream down the middle there. I like a good water feature, not the one that's the bath leaking into the front room here in France. That's not a water feature, that's just a mess up in the plumbing, and don't blame me, I didn't put that in. So here we go, round the side. It's just nicely done. It's, you know, proper Japanese water, calm, tranquil. That's basically the gang until all of a sudden somebody presses a button and it all goes mad. Okay. So it looks like it's getting wound up a little bit. Mount Fuji in the background there.
Yeah, and the gradient will shortly change and the downhill will start, and you'll start to see the stretch on that downhill when it happens.
And that's sort of why it's key. You've got to get onto the wheels now. It doesn't happen until we actually start heading over the top. There's a little drag at the top of this climb. If you look at that percentage at the moment, it's 1-2%. But it's going to continue. It actually just kicks up towards the road junction you see on the top right-hand side of the map. And that is really, really key. So you can just see as we come up here, this is actually a 4% climb up to this junction. We then go out around to the right, we drop down, and we come out halfway down the descent from the other side of the village. So here we go, on to the descent, making our way down as soon as we've gone past this next bit of junction. You go over the rise, and it's into that sort of left and right hand turn that the speed really starts to pick up. But it looks like the red beacon just about back in with the gang at the moment. That's got a few riders with Tracy that she's going to need to keep an eye on. So Pia, you need to squeeze on there. Going to be really key. And Elena Petrova in as well.
And they are indeed, and it is, look, I mean, just look how fast that pack are moving, and we're only just starting on that descent. They're just shy, in fact, they've just gone over 50 kph. Absolutely, the pace really starts to kick, even on the early stages of this descent.
And you can just see the riders are having to put out much bigger watts per kilo at the chasing group and the leaders in the pack. You can see in that pack probably 3 or 4 watts per kilo less than the chasing group. And that's going to be really, really key as they come down here. So we're going into the line. We're going into the gantry. This is the view that the riders will have as they come into the finish. We are on
lap number 3.
3 laps to go.
Yep, 3 laps to go. They are on to the 3rd lap.
All the 3s.
It is indeed. Let's not get too confused, though.
It's a magic number.
It is 3. And it's really good here. So Tracy, our red beacon, is actually pulling on the front here. We've got the two riders, Scott and Petrova, behind, working together here, these three, to close that 2-second gap now back to the group.
Indeed, and I think Tam just holding the back of that group. And looks like Rachel Lee Scott in a little bit of danger here, because I think we're going to see Rachel just getting drifted, the power of this pace. So it looks like Elena's going to get onto the group. So if Elena was to put a sprint in now, she would get on the back. But Tracy is going to need to try and get back for Rachel, because Rachel Lee Scott is going to need some assistance. She's not on an aero bike, and she's not on an aero bit of wheels either, and that is a disadvantage when the pace is this hot.
Yeah, though she's putting out some good numbers, Matt, trying to really push to get back onto that group. Working really hard, and yeah, you're quite right, 97 RPM, so really good cadence as well in terms of working back towards getting on that group.
So this is where the riders with the red beacon, Elena's got to kick on here to get on to the group. The red beacon now is going to try and drop back, no doubt, but this is very, very tough. So let's see how they're going to go. The time really has run out to do not do a jump out. So let's see how they're going to go on. Rachel just off the back here. So if you do get a drop out now, guys, you are riding in real time. Do not drop out of the ride and jump back in again. But remember, time gaps here are tricky. So this is where Tracy and Elena have to either get on the back or get off the bus, because it's so close.
Yeah, and so hard to make that final juncture when this group is moving so quickly.
It's going to be very tight, I think, as they start coming in. You can see that they're being prolonged here. You could just do with one or two riders off the back of that group, just rolling back a touch, just to give a little bit of a assistance. And look at Elena go. I've just seen 6 watts per kilo there. She's just putting a big kick there.
Absolutely
Nicely,
awesome.
well done there. Brilliant stuff. Right, Tracy, your mission now, 6 seconds back. Time to roll back, and you can see easing off. And this is one we say, it's really hard being red, actually.
It's a harder workout being red than it is being yellow. And ironically, Tracy was indeed our yellow beacon last week. So she can have a direct comparison. But definitely earlier on, she's working a lot harder than controlling the pace and steadily and slowly ramping it up on the front as yellow.
That's why, if you are a yellow beacon, you've just got control of the pace. So you get to choose how fast it's going to go. You get to choose when the attacks and when the pushes. Makes a big difference, doesn't it? Whereas if you are red beacon, you're yo-yoing at everyone else's pace, trying to take people in, take them out, and everybody's got their own style of being a red beacon as well. So some people would just go, do you know what, we're going to have a nice steady ride, I'm not going to go over 2, I can't help you get back on because I haven't got the power and pace, but I'm going to keep you company and I'm going to keep you rolling at the back, and we will not let you go. We're going to follow you. We are going to stay with you, whatever pace you do, and we're going to bring you in. And I think that's one of the great things, that there's a different style. Some people yo-yo backwards and forwards, pull people on, take people off, whereas other people are there. I mean, you look at Rachel Lee. She's doing 2.5 to 3 watts per kilo here, but she's on her own here. It's really, really tough stuff when you're on your own. But that is why when you get somebody back there to help, it makes a big difference. Now, looks like Parkin has got a little bit of an issue, because Parkin has just dropped off that main group, doing 5 watts per kilo. I would suggest to Claire that she needs to push on here and leave the red beacon to do the job, because that gap is 5 seconds up the road. We are starting to see people just start to struggle. I think this is going to be Foxy. It's Lisa Jane Late, another of our regular riders at the moment. Just start to get distanced off the front group at the moment, but Lisa, another rider who I think is improving back again week on week, just started to pick up people on the way through there. Dooley just being distanced off. Parky's going to come rocketing past.
I think they were being kind. I think they've dropped back to create a longer tail to allow Parkin to get back on there, and I think you'll see them all come together. See, look at that.
Well, I think that's going to be a tricky ask going back now. You can see there's a few people just off the group. So, Rachel, time to sit in the wheels, let the Terminator do the power, and just sit on that wheel. So modulate your power and let the Terminator, that's Tracy, give it the beans and make her work hard. Basically, want to kill her off for tomorrow.
Yeah, so I think that is our red bus forming now for the ride. And I think the pace of that group with the number of riders on it tonight is really going to start to...
Yeah. Is a long gap.
So I think that is our red bus forming for the evening.
Well, I think Emma Dooley and Foxy have got to make a call here, because if they want to go back onto the group, they've got to go now. So I think if you want to go and if you want to be in at the trigger point, you need to be booting it now. If you don't, if you're having to jump into the bus, then go say hello to Tracy.
Yeah, and the bus is always a very friendly place to be, and I'm very partial to riding on the red bus. Not normally on the WOW DCG. I normally choose to ride on the red bus on a Tuesday or Thursday. But yeah, it's not a bad place to be.
It is, isn't it? So here we go. Emma Dooley's going to have to go try and make a little bit of a cash into this group now. This is going to be tough stuff. Emma, now I think Emma has got the legs, to be honest. Any of these fear riders, they've got the power and the pace actually to go riding right off the front. The question is going to be, can they keep this smooth enough to keep Rachel intact? We know that Tracy's got power to burn, so they've got to keep it smooth, and that is absolutely key. Meanwhile, just up at the front group, it is still looking like a reasonably strong group, but we are seeing one or two riders again just yo-yoing at the back there.
Yeah.
Just see Foxy, come on, Foxy, time to push on here. This is where you've got to go, because if they lift it to 3 watts per kilo, it's going to go even quicker still.
Yeah, so I think we'll see Foxy just jump into the back of that group in a moment, and I'm looking back at the Red Beacon. The Red Beacon group is moving really strongly. Julie's at 3.6 on the front of that. Tracy's comfortable, and then Scott. And I think what the three have got to realise is they don't have to do the same watts per kilo. What they need to do is think about the person on the front pulling the hardest, and actually the person at the back recovering and taking the recovery of the 2 riders in front to do a little bit of through and off to bring them through at a faster speed. Indeed, practicing your drafting is absolutely key.
Yep, definitely, and it is one of the things we've always said with the Donny Chaingang from the very start. It wasn't just about giving people something to look forward to and having that social ride and as well as a competitive ride. It wasn't just about showcasing our talented riders who didn't have that shot window, but it's also about learning to ride on Zwift, which is really, really key.
Yeah, as indeed Foxy just pops into the back of that group. A nice measured approach to doing that.
Yeah, not panicking.
Nope, not at all.
Jimmy Allen the Wolves, rule number 1, don't panic. Stay off the front and do not panic. Absolutely key. Right, so the gang getting on their way in to town once again. 21.5, nearly 21.5k on the clock. So this group is going well at the moment. There's a few people just starting to feel the pace, starting to feel the pressure. The Red Beacon is rolling, and just going to see. And this is where the issues come, is that if it goes too quick, it could drop people just like Rachel with a full power drop out there. So going to be out the back. So that gap was really opened. So Tracy and Emma, good luck. You've 13 seconds to make back. So the bike's not working well. Rachel, if you have repeated issues, get in touch with Emma or myself. We always say we're always there and happy to look after riders and try and give some tech advice. We have fixed lots of tech setups over the years, believe me. So there's probably nothing we haven't seen. So let us know if you are having issues. Give us a shout. We're always happy to help out. All part of the Donny Chaingang service. Oh.
Yeah, so I'm noticing here that Alex Morris is just watching the back of that group. Even though she's kicked on a little bit now, she's definitely comfortably riding in the back half of that group, not on the front, no nose out, and hopefully people are paying attention and learning how to ride.
Yeah, if you're on the back, you're doing the right thing. I tell you who's on a ride here. These two. Because look what's just in front.
Oh, I know. They are strong as anything, these two. And oh my God,
no.
the ho-ho-ho has gone. It is a replacement for the go-go-go tonight. So off we go, and a go-go-go, and ho-ho-ho has gone. So that was really early tonight, and we're seeing 6.2 watts per kilo come out of Blackburn as the numbers turn orange. She's hitting over 8 watts per kilo as the group starts to stretch and the fire socks are lighting up the road. And Backhouse has gone, and off the front they stretch and really pushing on as the yellow beacon says, enjoy, ladies.
Well, going to be really interesting, isn't it? So that trigger has been pulled, the pin has been thrown, and look at this. This group is on it now. We're at 20k. We've got 39k to get to. It's an early trigger, and this is going to be brutal. And I think we're starting to see groups form behind here. Now, Carla just hanging in there. Come on, Carla, keep pushing. Got Cookie in here. Fiona Booker maybe feeling the after effects of a mountain bike ride round Cannock too far. We'll see. Come on, Fiona. Grab some company. You've got Elliot in here from Fear. You've got Elena, not all that far behind. You've got lots of groups here just starting to get together. Laura Cheeseman, come on, Laura, squeeze onto that next group. They're a second in front here because it's all about grabbing a group before that descent. But look at these leaders. They are absolutely motoring.
And look at that on the top right-hand side of the screen. That huge blob of 41 riders has just become a section of split riders on the road as the front end goes over that descent really quickly and the pace starts to really lift as they're heading towards 60 kph. That group's got the yellow beacon in it and it's being lit up on the road. A lot of Tron bikes in there and it's a seriously colourful group.
It is, and you can see just how quick they're going down here. These riders all know what they're doing. They're going to hit the line. This is going to be 2 laps to go when they hit the line this time. We're watching in with Carla from the Aeonian race team here. The yellow beacon just rolling off the back here. I think Carla's just getting a little caught out here. She's got to really push on to get on, and this is about pure power here. Your watts per kilo are not important, and if you are one of our smaller or lighter riders, then this descent is going to be really tough. Oh, look at that. Carla's just dropped a burrito on the yellow beacon. That is harsh, because Cookie's not going to get any assistance there. Oh, that is really mean. Absolutely love it, but really mean. Now, can our yellow beacon, is she going to take this personally, or is she going to try and tow?
No, she's going to come through and she's going to
tow. Brilliant. Right. So, leading group of riders up the road has gone from 20 riders down to, I make it about 13 riders or so. We're going to take a little bit of a check, but we are on that little bit of a fold in the map, which will change that. So 17, 18 riders in there, potentially 20 riders at the most. You've then got Cookie and Carla in behind there at 13 seconds, 8 seconds behind them. You've got Booker, Petrova, Elliott, Sykes in there as well.
Oh, that's
like Claire Jessamine. That's a good group, isn't it?
I was about to say, that is a good group, and if they work together, they are going to bring Cookie and Carla back into that group, and then you've got a really big group to push and motor.
You have, and that is going to take them from what is, and more riders joining as well. So at the moment, that's 7. That's going to take them up to 9 if they can collect Carla and our yellow beacon on the way through. And they're just up the road here, so if they can get themselves up to a slightly bigger group, it will give them some assistance. But I tell you what, behind this group, there is still going to be plenty of riders as well. So they're going to make the catch here. So they're coming up on the yellow beacon. The beacon and Carla are going to go through first. So there they go. So this is going to put us a nice big group. And this is one of the key things about this ride. It will split and then it will rejoin. So our leaders up the road at the moment containing some really big names, and they don't come much bigger now than Alex Morris, who of course is that rider who now gets that orange jersey on Zwift as well. Tucks in there, Nicholas Soden in this group, Tiff Fletcher in as well. 23 seconds back, you've got this chasing group of riders. Then a further 22 seconds back is Dooley with Laura Cheeseman. And then it's going to be Michelle Ross. Good to see we've got Michelle back on ride. Another of our riders becoming a regular. Looks like Tam just going to go pushing up the road here. But this actually is our red beacon group. It's a blooming quick red bus tonight. I think it's got nitrox in the tank rather than standard unleaded in there.
No. It's the Baileys and mince pies that are doing it. I think you've got that wrong.
It's alcohol fueled, is it?
It
It's on
is
fuel, maybe ethanol,
Christmas
maybe.
fueled.
Christmas fueled.
It
Right.
is indeed.
Yeah, bar humbug.
And in fact, they have got Dooley's only 11 seconds down the road there. So if this group can work together, they will pick Dooley up.
Tell you
and
what,
then
another strong rider as well.
yeah, and then it's looking like we've got 3 main groups on the road: the red beacon, the yellow beacon group, and then the front group.
And I think the hardest thing for the red beacon group now is not to get carried away chasing riders in front, but not to get the gaps go too big. So watching behind is going to be absolutely key for these riders, because it's very easy. I found it very difficult not to get carried away. I know you've done red beacon duties as well, and you're so sort of focused on dragging everybody up as fast as you can that actually you end up splitting the group, and then you've got to slow down, and you end up yo-yoing rather than just picking a nice steady pace.
Yeah, and at some point in time, it is about picking a nice steady pace and rolling in with the pace of the group.
Well, here we go. Next group up the road is the yellow beacon group. This has got Sarah Sykes in there, got Claire Jessup in there, Lena Petrova in it, Fiona Booker in as well. I think it's Lisa, the Sleigh Bells team rider, and of course our yellow beacon cookie. Up the road though, this is our leading group, and it looks to me like that pace has just come off a little bit, maybe realising just how far they've got to go.
Yeah, I think they've made the first split. These riders have made the first junction. You know, there's just shy of 20 riders in this group. They're settling down a little bit, taking a look at each other, just riding and rolling through this lap before probably we start to see some action. And, always what I like to say, see who the first brave rider is.
Well, indeed, and I think I'll be choosing my point carefully, because the advantage is with this group. So let's see how they're rolling. This is going to be very entertaining as they go through.
Yeah, but look at the difference. Look at the gap already. That front group have got 41 seconds on this yellow jersey group, so they have pushed on. They may have settled down a little bit now, and they might be taking a little bit of recovery themselves, but that yellow beacon group is a big distance now back, or the front group is now a big distance back to the yellow beacon group, and then a further distance back to the red beacon.
So it looks like the guys in the front of that red bus may well be pushing on. I think Tracy, our red beacon, making the call to drop back to Pia and to Laura, who are just behind. So looks like time for Tracy to engage the drinks trolley, the refreshments, refuel, rehydrate, drink responsibly, folks. OT is always good. Hydro tabs. I was on the hydro tabs yesterday evening on the commentary.
Were you indeed?
I was, yeah.
You weren't on the Baileys and the mince pies?
Nope.
No.
No, you can't.
So can we just say to our new listeners and to our new riders tonight, we don't normally extol the virtues of alcohol whilst riding, and it is just because this is the pre-Christmas WOW DCG.
We could, but it'd be a lie, because the Red Beacon always talks about gin.
Well, true.
Just shot yourself in the foot there, completely and utterly. It's usually cake and gin rather than mince pies and Baileys, but you know, so she's like, right, okay, let's get up to the front of the ride here, and let's start picking out some riders in this group. Going to be interesting to see who's got some brave moves in the arsenal. We know that there's some very strong riders here. I mean, they don't get any stronger than a rider who's just won a pro contract based on their performances in the Zwift Academy. But you've got riders like Nicholas Sudden, they got regular riders like Tiff Fletcher. But don't forget, Alex Maurice has ridden the Chaingang. She knows how to play this game. I'd love to say she started on the Chaingang. It's not true. Strictly true, but she was a fourth cat not that long ago. Has gone fourth cat to pro in like rocket
12
full
months.
time. 12 months. I wasn't measuring time. Winter solstice to winter solstice, is it? A proper calendar year.
Full calendar year. But, you know, an amazing journey into a cycling career, and all the best for her.
Yep, definitely. Okay. Looking good at the moment. Group's going well, but we're coming into town.
We are, and the gradient is just starting to head up a little bit. It's not exactly flat at the moment, and I have just seen a 4.5 watts per kilo from Joe on the front there, but it's rolling the pace pretty much between 2.5 and 3.5 in that group, so a steady pace for this front pack at the moment. Nobody really wanting to take it anywhere, and they seem very settled at the moment, possibly until we get to this climb, I think.
Indeed, and let's see who's going to take this on. Will it be Johanna Bonilla Allard, the rider we're riding in with at the moment? It's going to be interesting to see whether or not she's going to lead them up the climb on the front at the moment. Got some relatively lightweight hoops on that bike, going for some not too deep rims, so going to have a little bit of an advantage when that gradient goes uphill. You can see the gap is open to the yellow beacon, which is the pillar of light in the distance. Joe Blackburn just moving up, Holly Bergin, Tiff Fletcher moving up those wheels at the moment. It's going to be Blackburn, though, that leads them up the climb. So Joe Blackburn on the front, and those regular riders who have been watching this chain gang week in, week out will know that that is always a dangerous moment. Now let's have a little bit of a look. It looks like Morris just marking the back of this group. I don't think she's really got anything to prove, to be honest. If I was Alex Morris, I'd say, "You don't want I'm having a mince pie, blow it."
But Dockers is kicking it out. Bratton's pushing on a bit as well at the front there. I can see Taylor's even putting it down as well, and Parkins at 5.5 watts per kilo. So these riders are pushing up this climb, and they are trying to get a little gap by the looks there. There is a little gap forming towards the back. People are going to have to push on, because the second this starts to go downhill on the other side, if you are not with that group, you will be off the back of it.
And I tell you who's doing the ride here, Caroline Harvey. I mean, Caroline involved in a really nasty accident, and now back, but with one arm in a, I think it's in a pot at the moment. But look at this, we've had a move made. I think there's just been a little bit of a kick up the road. You can just see the gap really has opened up, but it is only going back to that group of about 5 riders, and then Caroline behind here. So this is the leading group, but it is at the moment, it's not an attack as much as just an increase in pace and power. And look at Julie Bratton go straight to the front there.
Yeah.
From back to front to get back into the group. Nicola Soden is doing the same here. You can just see Nicola, who is in the blue and white there at the back of that group, just jumping onto Julie's wheel at the moment, and Nicola and Julie are going to make contact. The question is, can anybody else do that? It looks to me like Joanne Lee is going to have to push really hard. So Helen Backhouse here, then Joanne Lee, then Emma Gilbert. They are the riders who are just distanced a little bit there. I think Caroline time to rest her arm up. And then it's back to the chasing group, 1 minute and 8 behind. But this is the front of the ride at the moment. And look at the pace that's going down on this descent.
Yeah, and 9 riders in this group. Maybe a few more than that is very difficult to judge at the moment. In fact, I think there must be more than that. I reckon there must be about 14 riders in that group at the front at the moment. And they are motoring down this hill. And as they come to this banner, this will be the finish banner next time round.
So we are on 1 lap to go, the last round. And in fact, we're going to be recording a Crosscast, a new episode of the Crosscast very shortly. So don't forget, make sure you subscribe to the Crosscast. Neil from Gritty, one of our key supporters, on as well.
Yeah, and Emma Gilbert just announcing that she's got to go. She's hit her time limit tonight. So happy Christmas. Hope you enjoyed the festivities, Emma. And we will see you on the WOW DCG, no doubt, after the Christmas period.
Well, it's not very long, is it? And that Wednesday's going to be a fun Wednesday, because we've got a very special beacon.
No, I am Red Beacon after Christmas.
Yeah, I did say beacon, not which one.
Yeah, but we are indeed. So nice to see you tonight, Emma, and we will see you again soon.
Right, back to the front group here. So at the moment, Parkin just trying to stay in touch. And don't forget, of course, if you want to catch up with us, we are going to be bringing you the Donny Chaingang tomorrow. And then we are going to be broadcasting live. We have some esports finals on Sunday. That's on Christmas Day. And then we're back on Tuesday for the Donny Chaingang again. with the world's worst yellow beacon taking the helm on Tuesday.
Haha, Matt indeed takes the yellow beacon on Tuesday from Russ and Jimmy Allen, and I have control of the studio.
That's really dangerous, actually, isn't it? I'm not sure what's more dangerous, you in charge of the studio or me in charge of a ride. Not sure.
Well, I think this group have settled down again. They've lost a few more riders off the front of this front group. They have settled down again, and they are now on this last lap. So 32.6k now complete. 39 kilometres is the finish line, which will be at the end of this lap.
It will indeed. Now let's see how they're going. Maurice is nicely tucked in here. Looks like Tiff in as well. Miss Cookie, you can't come and help in the studio. Not a chance in hell. I wouldn't trust you in charge of a pram. Not after you've been on the gin and the Baileys later on. And it's a long way from where you are. You would need to fly. We're in Studio 3, not Studio 1 or 2, because they're nice and handy. It's a little bit further.
I agree, that was harsh.
But true. Right, here we go. In with Joe Blackburn. The wonders of having control of the keyboard means we can jump across through the groups and ignore any of the comments from our yellow beacon, even it's up here. Right, let's take a little. We've got sleigh bells in. So we have, because it's a festive period, we have got the one and only set of sleigh bells in here. Just because it's Christmas.
Yeah, so
we've actually let the Santa's helper, which is AKA Indy the trail dog. We can't fit a reindeer in the studio, so we've got a trail dog with a bell on instead.
So this front group, Matt, I'm thinking are looking really settled. They are really comfortably riding. There's some really good, comfortable heart rates as well in this group. So I am thinking they are looking at each other, and they are looking at each other to see what is going to happen. You know, are they going to leave it to the climb? What do you think?
The answer to that is, I think it would be foolish to leave it to the climb, because you are playing into the hands of a really good climber or somebody who can attack hard. You've got to be really confident. But going now is so hard. You've got to go. If you could talk to your teammates on a platform that maybe like Discord, and you had some teammates in that group, then I would seriously be considering attacking as a duo to try and get down the road. But actually, when you look at who is in here, we actually have two riders. We've got Holly from the Coalition squad, and we've got Mandy Heikblock as well, also from the Coalition team. And when you look at the squad that's in there, they are the only team of two riders in that leading group. So they're going to have to work. If they got their timing right and both attacked at the same time, you might have a chance. But you still have to get your timing right. I suspect probably just coming into town. But everybody's going to be really twitchy at that point. So very hard to do.
They are. And the pace on this group is quite quick. You know, they may only be travelling at around 3 watts per kilo or just over, but the actual pace, they're just shy of 40 kph, so launching an attack off the front of this group on this descent or on the flat is going to be tricky.
It is. So, whilst this group is doing a little bit of stabilisation, we are going to take a little bit of a look at the riders that are behind. So we've got John Lee, along with Helen Backhouse in here. Then it's going to be Caroline Harvey. Then it's going to be the big chasing group behind. So this is the second big group, but this is about the fourth set of riders on the road, and it's our yellow beacon group. But a real who's who. We've got Sarah Sykes in here, we've got Foxy in here, Vicky Jones in as well. Vicky, another of our regular riders, really has become a regular feature on the front, and somebody who you don't want to take into a sprint. She's got a real kick on her as well. Really good to see Vicky back in with us as well. You've got people like Lisa Elliott in there as well, Fiona Booker. It really is a who's who. You've got Eleanor Petrova as well. So let's take a little bit of a run up the road. That group's still all together, going nowhere fast at the minute.
Yeah, so still travelling as one group, and no one's pushing on at the moment.
So We've gone all the way down to our fourth group. So this is the second set of riders on the road. Then you've got Caroline Harvey on her own as the third. The fourth group is our Yellow Beacon group. If we go back to the fifth group on the road, I think it's going to be our Red Beacon group, potentially. It's going to take a little bit just in front, actually, of our Red Beacon group, and which means our Red Beacon group, which is Tracy and Laura, just behind. So about, what was that, 7 groups or 8 groups on the road? That's about right for a DCG or a WOW DCG. Regularly the same with, we say groups, but there are numbers of riders. Could be all one. A group of one. Nothing wrong with being a group of one.
Yeah, but as we always say, when you come off the back of the main group, find your own group, work together, and work till the finish line.
And it is always quicker, particularly on a route like this with so much flat on the bottom. But you can see this group at the moment. They are spread out across the road. We're just in with Dockers at the moment. And really is going to be interesting to see who is going to take this on. So we've got Jahila Bonilla Allard, you've got Holly from the Coalition Squad, Mandy from Coalition as well, Angela Webster in there, Nicholas Soden, Joe Blackburn. We've got Dockers, Taylor, Julian here, Alex Maurice, of course, in this group. It really is a who's who. Tiff Fletcher in there, trying to do this by eyeball rather than working it out without. I think we're also going to have Kirby from the Enduro Squad, Jenny Kirby in there. So really is a who's who. And of course, the rider that everybody is going to be keeping an eye on, Alex Maurice, who is, of course, our rider who has got that win, got the pro contract.
Yeah, and we've got a little bit of a stretch coming from the front of that group at the moment. They were wide across the road and narrow in depth, but slightly deeper in depth at the moment as Maurice just looks at the back of that pack and just keeps her eye on what's going on ahead.
So let's see where we end up at the climb. We're just about to take the left-hand turn that brings us into town. This is where things are going to get a little bit interesting. Are we going to see somebody taking a run at this? It looks like Tiff just kicking into the back of the group rather than through the group. But this is going to be critical. Watch those numbers go up now. This is where things are going to get very, very tasty indeed, because this is the attack point. You come around this right hand turn, you've got this little drag, and then what most people look for is that slight increase in gradient when everybody else just stutters and hesitates. That is the moment. Let's see who is going to go. So at the moment, just riding in with Morris on the back here. Be a nice way to finish off your year, having started on the DCG. To finish it off on the DCG with a win. Blackburn goes on the front now once again. So it's Joe Blackburn starting to wind it up on the front. Are we going to see a response from these riders? We're just taking the camera up a little bit higher in the air. Bratton is responding to this.
Fletcher's pushing on there. I've just seen some orange numbers come out of Fletcher. In fact, Fletcher kicks again at 9 watts per kilo. She doesn't want to get left behind. She knows what's going to happen when Blackburn goes over the top of that climb.
Well, Joe Blackburn notorious for going down. Look at that, she saved a feather flag as well. I'm not sure that was the best point to put it in, but she's using it to hold the riders off rather than to kick clear. And at the moment, you've got 3 chasers. Tiff Fletcher, you've got Dockers and Julie Bratton up there. Great to see Julie back on some serious form. Then you've got, it looks to me like Bonilla Allard. You've got Holly Bergin coming. You've got Webster. But the gap has really opened up now. So let's see. Can anybody control Joe Blackburn here? So it's Blackburn who is leading this out. Then it's Bratton, Dockers, Fletcher. Then Bergin, Bonilla Allard, Hype Block, followed by Webster, Kirby, Maurice Taylor, Parkin and Co. But this is the very front. 2 seconds is the gap. But if we take a little bit of a run in, this is looking up ahead to our leader. Not all that far behind. You can see the bodies coming around that corner. In pursuit, we are on the run down to the line. Who's going to take this away? They've got to close down on Blackburn, who currently has the gap. She's got what is 5 seconds between her and the chasers behind. Time is running out because if we spin our drone cam around, guess what we're going to see? It's going to be the orange banner just across around the side there. You can see it in the distance. The question is, can anybody close it down? I think that gap's opening, if anything, 7 seconds now on the clock.
Yeah, her timing is superb. Jo Blackburn is looking like she's going to have done it again. It didn't go her way last week. She got beat on the line, so she's really adamant she's having it today. As she comes over the bridge and she takes that left-hand corner, it sweeps left, and that is the finish line just ahead. We've got 6 seconds behind, so Blackburn is going to take it this week.
So Jo Blackburn, your winner of the WOW DCG here today. She goes through in first spot. It's Julie Bratton, I think, just taking that from Fletcher and Docker. So close between them. Then it's going to be Holly from the Coalition squad. Then it's Vanilla Allard behind. Then it's going to be Hype Block going through ahead of Kirby Webster. Maurice going to be parking. Taylor, the next rider, in through the line. Can't get back quick enough. Julie following in behind. Then it's going to be Nicola Sudden.
Yep, coming through, and just well done in terms of getting that mouse back quick enough to see Nicola go through there.
So Nicola, the next rider through the line. Behind then, a little bit of a gap has opened up. That is to Joanne Lee. So frantic out on the course at the moment. Amazing riding. A massive well done to all of our riders, and congratulations to our winner. Once again, it is Jo Blackburn who took that win that time round. Great riding by her to take a victory. As we're going to jump back in with Jolie.
We are indeed, as Jo is still pushing on those pedals, just ahead of Backhouse to take that through that finish line as Backhouse comes round that corner just behind Jo and to take that finish.
So it is Helen Backhouse being chased by Caroline Harvey. Harvey's a little bit of a gap, and that is to Booker. So what we've got Caroline Harvey, who is currently leading out. Then we've got Booker immediately behind. Then we've got Lisa, and we've got Elliot in there. We've got Foxy in the mix. All these riders are chasing Harvey at the moment, who's gone round past the pens. So we're going to keep an eye on them. And then we're going to go back and watch Caroline go back over the line. So that allows us a quick look back to see who's coming behind. Great riding by Caroline. Great to have you on the Chaingang. Good riding. Then it's going to be Vicky Jones. Is she going to get rolled on the line? She's not. Look at the watts per kilo. Everybody's drag strapping it. It was so fast on the way through there. I think Booker just on the back of that group. So I think that went to going through. What a great little finish. And I think this course is an absolute cracker as we see Sarah Sykes, another of that Ionian squad, heading into the line. This will be Elena Petrova heading in as well. So it's going to be Claire who goes over the line first. Then Sykes and Petrova go through. Then we're going to go back to Miss Cookie. It is going to be the yellow beacon on the way in.
Yeah, and look at that there. Cookie comes through that line in resplendent in yellow today. Thank you ever so much for taking on the yellow beacon tonight. It's been great fun to have you lead the ride.
Yep, definitely, and impressive typing skills as well. So whilst our cameraman who's tracking alongside Miss Cookie has clearly been on the Baileys already, we're just jumping in with Laura Cheeseman and Emma Dooley, who are on the descent at the moment. So they're coming around, not too far to go. Got a little bit of pace from this descent carry through. Currently at 55, 56 kph. You can generally clock just over that 60 kph.
Oh, and a burrito has gone down from Cheeseman as she kicks at 5 watts per kilo. That is nasty. Dooley's not having any of it, but
put a nose in front. You've seen that. That's smart riding.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, they are adamant they are having a ding-dong to the finish.
I think Laura's legs have just gone pop there. So Emma is on her way into the line there. The burrito didn't work there. And it's going to be Dooley who comes through. Then it's going to be Laura. Well done, Laura. Great riding here today. And they're going to roll in there. And Laura, she's another rider who keeps on improving time and time again. Now, in with Michelle Ross. Ross has a little bit of a gap on to that red beacon group at the moment. So it's going to be Michelle Ross. Then it's going to be Pia Uberlin, who is just behind. And then our red beacon, that is going to be Tracy Seeley. So at the moment, just in with Michelle. And great to have Michelle back with us once more.
Yeah, it is indeed, and it's only a few seconds back to that red beacon group of Pia and Tracy as they roll through towards the finish.
So it is going to be Michelle who goes through. Next up will be Pia who comes through. So Pia Oberlin, and again doing a great ride, nicely done. And wanting to do an easy ride, yeah, 2 right, well done.
Yeah, and that's the great thing, isn't it? Is exactly
what
you can choose to do.
I think there was some slight sarcasm in that one on the way through.
I know, but you can make it exactly what you want.
Well, looks like it must be that particular spot on the course that our cameras just have a little bit of a struggle with as we ride in with Tracy. The DCG, never easy. It can always be fun at the back, but it's never easy, that is for sure. So great riding by our riders here tonight. It's been great to watch them in action, and it's been very, very interesting watching those riding styles. Don't forget, of course, that we have the Donny Chaingang on tomorrow, and that is going to be really key for our riders because it's the last one prior to Christmas. Now, we do have riders out on the course, but we are going to do a couple of quick bits of admin. So whilst we are going to have a little bit of a check back on, not on ourselves, on Tam, who is on her way down off the side of the hillside, we are going to do a very quick swap across. So thank you everybody for watching. We are going to follow Tam in over the line. You can see it just over there on the way down into the finish. Please, guys, if you do want to donate, do so. Don't forget, of course, it all goes into helping us put the Chaingang on. Emma, it's been a cracking season. You're looking forward to the bit between Christmas and New Year. Could be quite entertaining.
Yeah, I am indeed. So if you are, I was going to say bored between Christmas and New Year, but perhaps that's not the right phrase to use. But if you are around between Christmas and New Year, don't forget the Donny Chaingang is rolling on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The WOW DCG will be back that week. And then we will be back in the new year as well.
We will indeed. And as you can see, going through the beacon goes Tam. Well done to Tam. Fantastic stuff out on the course. And Tam, hope to see you back again soon. So great riding by Tam. Time to spin down to that beacon, which means that we are going to roll our way in towards the finish once again. So a quick reminder, guys. Make sure you support the Donny Chaingang. Please make sure you join up. We say thank you by giving you great discounts. They come from all of the people. Just over there, you can see OTE, Gritty, Halo, Nonnas, Velaskin, Continental, and of course 1080. It is 1080 month all the way through December. And next week, the members of the DCG gang are going to get 3 pairs given away. So 3 pairs going to 3 different riders because it is old school. 1 rider, 1 prize. It is going to be a full pair of customers, so you can have anything. You could have a pair of Sutros, you could have a set of Katos, you could get yourself a set of esports glasses, whatever you want from the guys at 1080. Full custom, so you can put on there Mac talks forever and it's boring, or whatever you want on your lenses. You can put I love the DCG, or you can put ho ho ho, or go go go, whatever you want. So a quick reminder, guys, join them if you can. We have one more Chaingang before we hit the Christmas weekend. But don't forget, of course, that is the DCG tomorrow. The next WOW DCG is between Christmas and New Year. And we have got a cracking route there. And Emma, you're going to be our red beacon that day, although I'm doing the yellow the day before, so I'm not sure who's going to be in the worst state by the time we get to the Wednesday. We'll soon find out. If you want to find out, make sure you subscribe to either the Danny Cycling or the Full Speed Events YouTube channels, or of course make sure that you get the notifications on the Facebook page. Emma, a pleasure having you in the studio as ever. We are going to have to head.
We are,
back
and
off
I shall look forward
to
seeing you all on the start line of the WOW DCG on a bike next time.
That sounds amazing. So from Emma, and from myself. Please remember, stay safe, have a great time. If we're not going to see you tomorrow, then have a great weekend. We will be broadcasting over the weekend, so don't forget you can always catch up with us on there. Just follow our social media. Emma, you're at
Biking Emma.
And I'm at Matt Fixer-Payne. And don't forget, of course, you can follow the Donny Chaingang, Downey Cycling, and, of course, Full Speed Events as well. So from us here in the studio at Full Speed Events, we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.